Good evening and welcome to our V8 pre-World Final interviews. We're nearing this year's World Final at the Odsal Stadium at Bradford, and joining me tonight I have Steve Thompson. He's gained points to earn his place on that World Final grid on the first row. So good evening to you, Steve.
Hello.
So Steve, you've had some good results so far this year. What do you think has been the main contributing factor to that?
Just spending a lot of time on the car really, but I'd like to have done better if I'm honest. I don't think I started off as well as I should have, so I've been sort of playing catch up.
Yeah, so do you think you've got better through the season then?
Yeah, just my shale form's been a bit slack.
Right.
It's been getting better, but I'd like to have been a bit further on at this point, if I'm honest.
Yeah, okay. So you've made it onto the front row alongside Kev Stutchbury with Ollie Spencer and John Brown just behind you. Have you any tactics in mind ahead of the race, or will it be dependent on the day?
Just
Without
bounce
giving
off
too
the
much
fence,
away.
hopefully. Just bounce off and just see if I can keep going. I think it's doesn't seem it's quite tight around Bradford, and I think with a big push, it's just literally you can't plan anything. It's just bounce off the fence and hopefully you keep going.
Yeah, I mean, a few people have said, the track conditions have varied so much in the last two meetings. So, it's been a bit unpredictable. How do you find that? Do you think that's a true statement?
Yeah, it was very bumpy last meeting. I can't comment on the first one because I did about 2 laps. So, but yeah, last meeting it was very bumpy. So it was throwing a lot of cars about. So it was unpredictable where to go. And yeah, so it's just one of them. And it just depends what happens on the day.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the grid this year?
It's just very mixed, I think. There's a lot of new drivers, which is good for the formula, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it should be good.
Do you think that, the standard of driving this season has been higher than previous, or would you say it's about the same?
It's hard to really comment on that because you get drivers coming and going, don't you? So I won't say the standards any lower. It's just different faces.
Yeah. Are there any drivers you'd consider as a wild card who you think could win it?
I don't know. It's just pot luck on Shale as well, isn't it? Like there could be 4 or 5 of us all going piling in, and it couldn't be anyone's race on Shale. I think if it was tarmac, it'd be a bit more straightforward. But Shale, it can just be pot luck.
I think it's a bit more unforgiving, isn't it, on shale than it is on tarmac?
Yeah, definitely. If you get tangled up, you get a bit of a break, and it does help on Shale.
You've raced at Bradford already this season. Do you think this gives you an advantage over those drivers who haven't raced there?
Possibly, but every time you go, it's a different track, I suppose. And it's quite tight and everything, so it's just depends what happens on the day.
So, I mean, coming to the World Final, what would winning the actual final mean to you?
It just mean everything to us and the team and the family. I suppose it's all you race for, isn't it? We've raced before now. This is the build up, so it's what you work towards. So it'd mean everything to us.
Super. Well, I'm going to wish you all the very best of luck for Bradford. Hope it goes well for you and you have a smooth race round. And I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for joining me.